Now, here's where your brain hurts. These are not all your choices. If you click all blocks, you get this menu down the side now that shows up. So if I click text, here's all those choices from the text. Remember we were able to do all this stuff? Here's a table. That wasn't in the list. Under statement, you have all these different statement formats. Like here's a note. You know, a lot of times you want to put note for comments. You can add a note statement. You can make quotes, which would have a person's picture in them. All kinds of different formats there. Here's those lists, those 3 lists that we looked at. Under image, here's all those choices for the image so you can see what they look like. Here's those galleries. Under multimedia, there's that audio that I had. Here's video. Now, if you want to embed a YouTube video, check it out. Put this in here. Let's go to YouTube. And we'll pick this dude because he's fun. Rap dude listening to rock music. Let's see. Where's my share? Here's my share. Now, what you want is the embed link. Okay. This is the same link you would use to put this on your website. So you go from the iframe to the iframe. All right. We're going to copy that. We're going to go back to here. Under edit, we're going to change this. And I'm going to paste it in there. So you see what I did? It's the entire iframe to iframe. And I'm going to hit enter. There's my YouTube video.
That's easy.
What is going on, everybody, man?
However, there's a caveat. What happens in corporate America?
Ads.
They block.
They block. They block YouTube. So
They block YouTube in K-12 as well.
Yeah. So if you're using this inside of a company intranet, and you might have the ability to see YouTube. At work, I have the ability to see YouTube. Not everybody has it. So sometimes this creates a problem. But if you have an internal system like Microsoft Stream or something like that, you can embed from Microsoft Stream as well, or from Vimeo, or from Wistia, or from Loom, or any of those places. We've done them all. They all work. We were at multimedia. Here's that attachment. You can attach a file. Here's a nifty trick. And don't tell anybody I told you this. I created a Rise site full of file attachments. I attached a whole bunch of videos that I wanted to have from work, put them into a Rise site, opened up the Rise site at home, and downloaded them all. Because I couldn't email them to myself. I didn't have access to the network, the file system. I didn't have the ability to like do a linking like an FTP, but I had Rise. So I loaded them all into a Rise site and I downloaded them. So
did you download that to your hard drive?
What?
Were they downloaded to your hard drive or to
Yes, yes. Now they're downloaded to my home hard drive rather than my work hard drive, because I was able to use Rise as the go-between. So the message in that is sometimes you need to think outside the box with your tools that you have, because sometimes you can do things you don't think you can do. And then if you're a code person, there's the ability to put like JavaScript and stuff in here. I don't know how to do that. I have not used it. I don't know how well it works. Interactive. Here's that accordion. Here's a tabbed interface. Here's that labeled graphic. Here's process steps. Here's a scenario. You could build a scenario just like you would in e-learning. And you can create a branching scenario. I'm not going to go through the whole process, but look at this. You can edit the character, which means you can say, maybe I want this person. Can you change their pose? I don't know if you can change their pose, but you can certainly change their industry, their age, all that stuff. So again, just like in Storyline, you can do that. And then, so you have your scenario title. You want to hide the character when you do that, go to the next scene. And then you have all of your branching stuff in here where you can have that, build that scenario right here. And then at the end, it's done. You can add multiple scenes too if you want. So here's like another scene. And I believe there's ways, let's see here. Here at the end, right? Go to the next scene, go to new content, jump to different slides. You can play with this and figure out how this all works. But I know there's tutorials on YouTube on how to build fancy scenarios.
What would be your choice between Storyline and Rise if you only wanted to do scenarios as part of a larger training program?
It depends on how complex that scenario was going to be. If you are comfortable in Storyline, then guess what? You have the ability down here as we scroll through here, you can add a Storyline file right here. So you can build a thing in Storyline and import it into Rise, and it will play on the screen in its own player. So I think it's a 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, whichever you're comfortable with and however complex you want to be. If you want to be really complex and use variables and things like that, I would go to Storyline and then publish Storyline to review. Don't publish it out like normal, like to the LMS. Publish it out to review, because when you put this file in here, it's pulling from review. Okay, it's not pulling from your hard drive. So you got to go to, so these are all things that are stored in Storyline review, not Storyline. So these are quizzes that I built in Storyline. I can bring any one of them in here and do it here. By the way, there's that woman. All right, so back to the discussion at hand. Interactive. Here's that sorting activity. Here's the timeline. The timeline is really cool for things that even aren't timeline, but if they're process steps. So you can like take screenshots of something and do them in this process, right? Because of the way it works. What I've done in the past is I've done this as step 1, this is step 2. I've taken a screenshot from PowerPoint, put that screenshot here, and then put an audio file with it. So each slide got its own little bit of audio narration. So I basically created the equivalent of what you would get in Storyline right here.
Mm-hmm.
And you can just do that right here. So you have your audio, your media, and then any text that you might want to have. So you can do that without a problem. All right. There's your flashcards, flashcard stack, buttons. This is really cool. So you could put a button stack in here and I can click these buttons. Now I can link to an external website. I can have it send an email. I can have it exit my course. I could jump to different topics. So you could build a menu inside of your course. So if like on your table of contents, like if we went back here and you had a really long table of contents and you didn't want people to have to jump through that table of contents, you could call this first item main menu. And you could build a button stack or multiple button stacks and build a menu that had them jump. If you're looking to do this, jump here. If you're looking to do this, go here. If you're looking to do this, go here. You can do that. And you have the choice of a single button or a button stack. And you'll notice those picked up the color scheme that we had chosen. And while we're here, let's just play with that for a moment. So everything is green. If I go into my settings and I go to my theme, and let's say I pick purple. Now my line here is purple. And if I go in here, that line is purple. These bullets are purple. If I change these bullets to a numbered list, those are purple. So these buttons are purple. You have purple highlight here. Those are not purple. But my button here is now purple. This button's purple. So it changes everywhere, which is nice because it keeps your theming. I think that's probably toward almost at the end. Yeah, and then there's the storyline item that I talked about. So now under knowledge checks, you can build in questions. This is not nearly as robust as storyline when it comes to quizzing. So if you want to build a robust quiz, I would build a storyline quiz and send them there. If you want to do like a skill check, this will work. So if I put that in, I can add an image, which is very important because I can put a screenshot in for myself and I can ask them a question. Given the information that's on this screenshot, who's the customer, you know, or something like that. I can ask crazy, stupid questions, but you know, here's your choices. You can add more choices. Here's your feedback. You can do feedback based on correct, incorrect. You can do it by choice. So you can have a different feedback for choice 1 versus choice 2. So you have those kinds of options, and then you can just stack them. And that's what it does. And then it will give you feedback here if you gave it again, if you gave it feedback. So you do have a matching, which is kind of your drag and drop a little bit. So basically what you're doing is you're matching these pieces together. And if you edit them, you can identify, here's your choice, here's your match, choice, match. Okay, and you can add a graphic there if you want as well. And again, your feedback. So we have charts, which I've never used. They don't come into play in my world, so we don't use them. Here's your divider, so there's your button. Here's your divider, your step number, and your spacer, and then block templates. And I've never used these. This gentleman is somebody that works with us on another team, and I've never used any of these templates. So that is Rise.